the 1970s, while American streets echoed with the thunder of V8 muscle cars and Europe fine-tuned the elegance of its sporty coupes, Japan was quietly brewing something entirely different. These weren't cars that roared in commercials or dazzled showrooms with wild styling. No, these were sleepers, quiet killers, machines dressed in the modest suit of daily commuters, but hiding performance and engineering that could outmatch far flashier rivals. These cars weren't the Datsun Zs or Nissan GTRs everyone talks about. These were the forgotten beasts, vehicles with heart, precision, and an elegant refusal to boast. These machines may have flown under the radar, but for those who knew, they were unforgettable. 1. 1971. Toyota Corona Mark II. 1900 SL. The gentleman with a hidden sword. The Toyota Corona Mark II. 1900 SL wasn't built to show off. It looked like something a mid-level accountant might drive to work. A basic sedan with chrome trim, round headlights, and zero attitude. But this wasn't just another grocery getter. Under the hood sat a 1.9-litre 8RG engine, a dual overhead cam power plant developed in collaboration with Yamaha. That's right, Yamaha, the same company that made musical instruments and performance motorcycle engines. This wasn't just a gimmick. The motor produced 115 horsepower and revved with a silky smoothness, up to 6,500 RPMs, delivering power in a way that felt more like an Alfa Romeo than a Toyota sedan. Lightweight at just over 1,000 kilograms and paired with a 5-speed manual transmission, rare for any Japanese sedan at the time, it handled beautifully. This car offered a balanced, sharp drive without ever shouting about it. There were no racing stripes, no spoilers, no wide wheels. Just a humble sedan that could outdance cars costing twice as much. Even in Japan, this version was built in small numbers. Many were sold to professionals who just wanted a little more, and that's exactly what they got. Quiet confidence with unexpected bite. A sleeper in the truest sense. 2. 1974. Nissan Bluebird 610 SSS. Elegance with an attitude. Following the global success of the Datsun 510 was no easy task. The 610 had bigger shoes to fill. And it did, but not in the way people expected. The Bluebird 610 SSS came out as a larger, more refined sedan, and it had a secret hidden behind its sophisticated design. Powered by the L18 engine, a 1.8-litre inline-4, it didn't seem all that impressive at first. But in the SSS trim, it had dual SU carburetors, bumping power to 105 horsepower. Combine that with a sub-1,100 kilogram curb weight, and you had a car that moved with surprising agility. Even more impressive was its fully independent suspension, something rare for a sedan of this class and era. It gripped corners like a European sports coupe and delivered smooth, elastic power all the way up the rev range. Some markets even got a 5-speed manual transmission, making it even more driver-focused. It looked civilized, chrome accents, smooth lines, nothing aggressive. But take it on a twisty mountain road, and suddenly it felt more like a Japanese interpretation of the BMW 2002. Outside of Japan, the SSS trim remained rare. Few units made it to Australia, even fewer to Europe, and the US barely saw any at all. It's a forgotten gem that blended class with just the right dose of adrenaline. 3. 1975 Mitsubishi Galant GTO 2000 GSR, Japan's muscle coupe. Before Mitsubishi was synonymous with rally stages and Lancer Evos, it flirted with the muscle car dream. Enter the Galant GTO 2000 GSR, a fastback coupe with serious attitude, and one of the best-sounding exhaust notes to ever come out of Japan in the 70s. Inspired by American muscle, this coupe came with a 2.0-litre 4G52 engine, twin Mikuni carbs, and a free-flowing exhaust that gave it a throaty, aggressive growl. Officially rated at 125 horsepower, many believe it made closer to 170 in ideal conditions. Rear-wheel drive, 5-speed manual, stiff suspension, and it handled. On winding roads, it was light on its feet, almost like an Italian coupe, yet always ready to pounce into the next corner. It even made a name for itself in local racing circuits, where it gained a reputation as a small but mighty terror. The cabin felt purposeful: bucket seats, big dials, a short shifter. It was made for those who drove. No gimmicks, no outrageous spoilers, just raw character. Today, few GTOS survive, especially in original form, but those that do are highly coveted, especially in Japan. It was an early warning shot. Mitsubishi could build cars with serious passion. 4. 1977 Isuzu 117 Coupe XC, Art on Wheels. Isuzu might be known today for trucks and utility vehicles, but in the 70s, it dropped one of the most beautiful Japanese coupes ever, the 117 Coupe XC. Designed by none other than Giorgetto Giugiaro, the man behind the DeLorean, Lotus Esprit, and several Alfa Romeos, the 117 looked like a Lancia or Fiat imported from Italy. It was sleek, smooth, and elegant. Its low profile, long headlights, and sloping rear end gave it a distinctly European flair. But this car wasn't just about looks. The XC version came with the G180W engine, a 1.8-litre twin-cam inline-4 with twin carbs, making 130 horsepower. This thing revved cleanly, pulling up to the red line with a grace that felt advanced for the time. Later models even introduced electronic fuel injection, placing the 117 years ahead of many rivals. And inside, leather seats, wood grain trim, a fit and finish that rivaled luxury European brands. It wasn't loud, it wasn't flamboyant. It was stylish, capable, and precise, a grand tourer in the purest sense, and a sleeper in every way. Today, it's a forgotten masterstroke of design and refinement. 5. 1973 Mazda Loose Rotary Coupe R130, the smooth operator. Mazda has always been daring with rotary engines, and while the RX series gets the spotlight, the Loose Rotary Coupe, or R130, was a bold step into GT territory. Long, low, and styled like an Italian luxury coupe, the Loose was anything but ordinary. It housed the rare 13A rotary engine, a 1.3-litre unit that made around 126 horsepower. But numbers don't tell the whole story. The engine revved like a turbine, smooth, linear, and endlessly eager. The front-wheel drive layout was unusual for a sporty car of that era, but it worked, delivering a refined and composed driving experience. It wasn't about attacking corners, it was about gliding through them with grace. Inside, the Loose was luxurious and spacious, targeted at young professionals and executives looking for something different. It never became a global success. Most people didn't even know it existed outside Japan. But it remains one of Mazda's boldest creations, a forgotten cornerstone of rotary innovation. 6. 1971 Prince Skyline GC10 2000 GT, the other Skyline. Say Skyline, and minds jump straight to the GTR and turbocharged legends of the 90s. But before the fame, there was the GC10 2000 GT, a car that didn't wear the GTR badge, but still had serious credibility. This was the first Skyline to be built after Nissan absorbed Prince Motor Company, and while the GTR stole headlines, the standard 2000 GT was no slouch. Under the hood was the L20A inline-6, producing around 120 horsepower with twin carbs. It didn't scream, but it sang, with torque delivered in a smooth, consistent wave. Rear-wheel drive, semi-independent rear suspension, and a chassis that was eager to play. It was a car that didn't demand attention, but rewarded those who gave it some. Boxy and restrained in styling, it looked like any family car of the era, until it didn't. Today, it's overshadowed by its racier siblings, but the GC10 2000 GT holds its place as an underappreciated gem. Quiet, composed, but always ready to surprise. 7. 1976 Toyota Crown Coupe MS112, the Executive Rebel. When thinking of the Toyota Crown, performance isn't the first word that comes to mind. But in the mid-70s, Toyota broke that mold with the Crown Coupe MS112. 2 doors, sharp lines, executive presence. But what lay underneath was the real surprise. a 2.8-litre inline-six with multi-point electronic fuel injection, making around 140 horsepower and gobs of low-end torque. It moved like a much lighter car, and yes, it came with a 5-speed manual. Let that sink in. A manual luxury coupe in 1976 Japan. Suspension leaned toward comfort, but it had the tuning to handle spirited driving. Velvet seats, analog dials, chrome details. This was 70s class, but with real driving chops. It was the kind of car that passed by quietly, but could embarrass a so-called sports car if pushed. Almost no one remembers it today, but those who've driven one will tell you, it was more than a luxury car. It was a smooth-talking street fighter in a 3-piece suit. 8. 1973 Nissan Cedric 2600 GL, the silent powerhouse. The Nissan Cedric was designed for the upper middle class, a car for executives, families, and anyone seeking elegance without the European price tag. But the 2600 GL came with a twist. It used the L26 engine, a 2.6-litre inline-six lifted straight from the Fairlady Z lineup. That meant 140 horsepower delivered through a creamy power band and paired with either a 4-speed manual or automatic. What made this car special wasn't raw speed, it was composure. On highways or sweeping roads, the Cedric held its own against proper coupes, all while keeping passengers in complete comfort. It didn't look like a sports car, that was the point. This was performance cloaked in absolute subtlety. No one expected it to move the way it did. And today, original Cedric 2600 GLs are almost impossible to find, especially outside Japan. It's a forgotten executive express that never felt the need to shout. 9. 1977 Toyota Mark II. Coupe, the quiet evolution. The Toyota Mark II was always the elder sibling of the Corona, bigger, smoother, more grown up. But in the late 70s, the Mark II coupe hinted at something more, something brewing in the DNA of future performance sedans. Under the hood was the MEU engine, a 2.0-litre inline-six with electronic fuel injection, making about 125 horsepower. Nothing earth-shattering, but paired with a lightweight body, a 5-speed manual, and spot-on weight distribution, it delivered a driving experience that far outshone its spec sheet. Visually, it was as modest as they come. No wings, no scoops. It blended into traffic. But behind the wheel, it was lively, responsive, and felt like the blueprint for the sporty Toyota sedans that came later, Crestas, Chasers, and more. This coupe was a testbed, a rolling experiment that proved you could make an exciting car without making a scene. It laid the foundation for generations to come, and did it without asking for applause. 10. 1972 Mazda Capella Rotary GS RX2, the compact weapon. If there was ever a rotary-powered car that deserved more love, it's the Mazda Capella GS, known in export markets as the RX2. It was the perfect blend of family-friendly size and motorsport spirit. Under the hood, the 12A rotary engine spun to the heavens. With around 120 horsepower and just 950 kilograms to carry, it was a firecracker. It revved past 7,000 RPMs effortlessly, producing that signature whale rotaries are famous for. The GS variant got the full performance treatment, 5-speed manual, stiffened suspension, and a focused cabin. On the road, it was lively and nimble. On the track, it earned serious respect, especially in touring car series in Australia and Europe. Don't let the sedan or wagon body styles fool anyone. This was a legitimate performance car hidden behind a polite exterior. A sleeper that could walk away from much larger machines with ease. There you have it. 10 Japanese sleepers from the 70s, cars that didn't need spoilers, stripes, or marketing gimmicks to make a statement. Cars that hid their brilliance under layers of simplicity. And yet they delivered, on the road, in spirit and in legacy. Sometimes the loudest message is spoken in silence. These were the quiet beasts, the forgotten warriors, and for those lucky enough to remember, or to own one, they were never truly gone. If this deep dive into forgotten Japanese legends fired up your passion for underrated cars, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and drop a comment with your favorite sleeper from the list. or one we might have missed. There's more history under the hood than meets the eye, and more stories on the way. Stay tuned and see you in the next ride.